Hurricanes, earthquakes, and volcanoes, are these signs the end times are close at hand? Or are there more subtle signs to which we've paid little attention? Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. With all the natural disasters occurring in such a short period of time, many people of faith are wondering if the end is near, as predicted in Scripture. But my guest says we're reading it all wrong, and that the signs to look for are not in the weather, but in Wall Street, in the form of a global monetary system, a one-world order. Celia is the president and CEO of Financial Issues Stewardship Ministries and a host of a syndicated radio and television program, Financial Issues. He joins me now. Welcome, Dan.
Lauren, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here, and because I was surprised at your article. You write about this in your article. It's called, "Did the Hurricane Distract You from This Major Sign of the End Times?" Now, why do you say the end times signs are economic?
Well, the premise of my article, and it was kind of a repeat of an article that I wrote actually in 2009, and the idea being that I believe that one of the things, we know there's going to be a one world government, but I think one of the things that's going to usher that one world government in is going to be a one world currency. And I believe that we need to have currencies. I think it's the currency system that is going to give the energy, so to speak, for the debate over having a one world government. And I think that's what, and we are seeing, as we see, as it says in Scripture, the multiplying, the more intensity of the natural disasters as we get closer to end times. I think we've got to also look at what we're hearing and what we're seeing talked about as far as currencies go. I'm not just talking about Bitcoin and those cyber currencies. For 5 or 6 years, the IMF has been talking about currency issues and having a kind of a currency for developed nations similar to the euro. And I think that is going to be what we ought to be looking at as something that could usher in the one world government.
Yeah, and the one world government is what is predicted that precedes sort of the end times, with a one world order kind of thing. So, but what would precipitate a global monetary system? Like, what are the signs that we're actually moving towards it? Is it, the Europe and the euro?
Well, so here's the reason why I say this is because of the euro. I think the euro is giving the ammunition for the one world government. What I mean by that is we have seen the eurozone, and we've seen the 19 countries on the euro bloc. And I think that it is pretty much a failed system. It's a very difficult thing to have 19 different parliaments all agreeing on monetary policy. As a matter of fact, it's been proven it's impossible. So usher in the one world or the Euro central bank, because they needed some governing authority, of course, to make decisions over the currency. But the problem is it hasn't worked. So the IMF has suggested that it's not, one of the reasons it's not going to work is we need more of the trading partners with the Eurozone to be involved in a same type of currency. Right now, we have the petrodollar, which is basically the U.S. dollar. That's what oil is traded in.
Yeah.
And to have something that is a governing kind of force for trade.
Well, let me ask you this. Because I think one of the things is, like, why would a one world economy be so bad? And, how close are we to really having that as a reality?
Well, I don't know how close we are to it. I think we're probably in some ways closer than we think. But I think that it's about sovereignty. It's about our, you can't have a one world government. You're not going to have the same kind of freedoms that we might have now in America and enjoy. President Trump talked about socialism. It was one of my favorite lines from a speech at the UN when he was talking about the idea that socialism, and he was talking about Venezuelans and socialism did not go awry. It wasn't mismanaged. It was that it was executed very faithfully. And I think that we, the United States of America, we don't want to give up freedoms and our sovereignty as a result of a one world government. We don't want a king, so to speak, that is the authority over what we do and how we live and how we're taxed and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it is a great article. You want to check out the article. It's called "Did the Hurricane Distract You from This Major Sign of the End Times?" Dan, Celia, thanks so much for being on A Spirited Debate.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate being here. All
right, and thanks everyone for watching. You want to check out my book, Lighthouse Faith, God is a Living Reality in a World Immersed in Fog. And make sure you watch for my podcast, Lighthouse Faith. That's launching very soon on foxnews.com. Thanks very much for watching.